And I think the higher masculinity you have, especially as a young man coming into the world and trying to figure out your way, is when you start thinking about those situations, does it make you want to just curl in a ball and run? And if it does, you might want to look at that a little bit if you're wanting to be a masculine man in the world. And we don't ask that question enough anymore.
Hmm. Even
And
as even in older males as well. There's so many high achieving males that I know of that I've spoken with or been approached by as well that like have everything. They have the career, they have a relationship that's not going so great. I remember me. I had the dream career that I wanted. I wanted to be a cop. I wanted to be making a difference. I wanted to be all these different things, but was completely and utterly lost because I hadn't asked that question myself even. What exactly is, what kind of man do I want to actually be? And even to this day, I still ask myself because there's aspects of me that I'm like, I do not want that, but I'm trying to break that pattern.
amen, brother. Oh my God. Yes.
you
Yes.
know, I just turned 38 this week, and I'm like, there is so many things. My wife and I had I'll call it a discussion because we don't really argue, but we have discussions the other day, and she brought things, and she's like, this still hasn't changed. And I'm like, it hasn't, has it? And I'm like literally in my head going, and I'll be totally honest here. I was like, I feel like a failure. I feel like I'm absolutely failing this marriage because I haven't changed the things that mean the most to her, and that comes down into that protecting, providing kind of aspect. Because I'm like, the thing that's most important to me is creating less pain. Like, and that stems back to my childhood. It's a process that I've worked on and figured out. And so I'm like sitting there going, far out. I'm creating so much pain in her that she's miserable. Okay. I, and I'm sitting here in this, and leading into this, us sitting down and talking. I'm like, wow, like, do I even have the skills to even talk about this masculinity stuff if if I've got this stuff going on? And it comes down into like what we've been talking about. We've got to ask ourselves these questions and continuously evolve. I'd love to hear around like, the difference between your first marriage and now your second one. Like, what are the key things, like as a man, as a masculine guy, that you can identify as you've shifted, changed, work on yourself,